Today we're solving quadratic equations, and we're using another method to solve them. The other day we looked at when a quadratic is actually factored. And for instance, if we had x minus 3, x plus 3, we know that this parabola is going to cross at negative 3 and positive 3. The solutions actually occur where y equals 0 on the x-axis. So if I were to ask you for the solutions, you would look at this and say, okay, if I set y to 0, and let's just take the x minus 3 out, you would say x equal 3. If you set the x plus 3 equal to 0, your other solution would be x equal negative 3. So we're going to look at this a different way. What if I had x squared minus 9? You would factor that and say x minus 3, x plus 3. And then you would be able to solve, just like we just did. So let's take x squared minus 9, set it equal to 0, as if we're going to factor it, but let's do this a little different. This is called the square root method. Okay, what do you think you could do if you were looking at this and you wanted to get the x by itself? You didn't want two x's, because right there you have an x times an x, which is x squared. So let's see what we can do. You've probably already thought of it. If I square root, that will give me an x. But if I square root one side, I have to square root the other side. And the square root of 9, everybody's going to say, is 3, which is true. However, in our previous example, x minus 3, x plus 3 is the same as x squared minus 9. And the answers are 3 and negative 3. But if you look at negative 3 times negative 3, doesn't a negative 3 times a negative 3 equal 9? So if a 3 can make 9 and two negative 3's can make 9, then my answer can be a positive 3 and a negative 3. And let's just say this. We don't know what x is. X is a variable. It's an unknown. So we have to say all the solutions that x could be. And in this case, it can be a positive 3 or a negative 3. Okay, there's our first answer. Let's try this again. Okay, another example, 3x squared minus 50 equals 58. To solve, I'm going to add the 50 over first. So I have 3x squared equals 108. I'm going to divide the 3 over. This is going to give me my x squared by itself. And now I can square root. So x equals plus or minus 6. Remember, every time you square root, you have to consider that x can be a positive 6 or a negative 6. Okay? All right, here's one more example. This one's a little bit different. We have a 3 times x plus 1 squared equals 48. Now, let's just remember, x plus 1 squared is just an x plus 1 times an x plus 1. Okay? If I divide by 3, I'm going to get x plus 1 squared equals 16. If you square root both sides, you get x plus 1 and plus or minus 4. Remember, when you square root, you have to go ahead and put the plus or minus in there. So I've subtracted 1 over on the other side, which is x equal, okay, the 4 minus 1 gives me a 3. And then I'm going to go ahead and do the negative 4 minus 1, which is going to give me a negative 5. So my answers can be 3 or negative 5. All right, that's it for this video. We'll talk more about solving quadratic equations in the next video.